So, today we're diving into one of the most bizarre and legendary battles in internet history. A story about performance art, political protest, and a level of online weaponized autism that the world had never really seen before. This is the incredible saga of 4chan versus Shia LaBeouf's flag. It all began back in January 2017, just as Donald Trump was being inaugurated as President of the United States. There was a lot of tension in the air, a lot of anger and division, and everyone was trying to process it. Actor Shia LaBeouf, along with his art collective collaborators Nastya Siderank and Luke Turner, decided to channel this energy to explicar the premise simple, but also incredibly ambitious. They set up a camera on a wall outside the Museum of the Moving Image in New York City. The camera would be live streaming 24/7 for the entire 4 years of the presidency. The public was invited to come to the camera at any time of day or night and read the free presi wilda device and tours along. The idea was to create this continuous, unified chant of resistance, and at first it kind of worked. It became a spectacle. People showed up, they chanted, they sang, they danced. News crews covered it. Jaden Smith made an appearance, and it became this little hub of anti-Trump sentiment. For a brief moment, it was exactly what the artists intended, a beacon of participatory protest. But this is the internet we're talking about. And a 24/7 unmoderated livestream is like a giant, glowing beacon for the weirdest corners of the web. Specifically, it attracted the attention of the political board on 4chan, known as POL. Now, you have to understand the culture of POL. They saw this art project as the absolute pinnacle of what they called liberal cringe. It was performative, it was self-serious, and to them, it was a challenge. They weren't just going to let this live stream run unopposed. So, the trolling began. First, it was simple stuff. Trolls would show up and shout pro-Trump slogans or memes into the camera to disrupt the chant. They would stand behind the genuine protesters holding up Pepe the Frog signs. The livestream became this weird, chaotic mix of earnest protest and absolute absurdity. Then it escalated. People started showing up in costumes, blasting music, and generally making the space as unwelcoming as possible for the actual participants. The stream devolved from a protest into a non-stop circus of online culture clashes happening in real life. Shia LaBeouf himself was there a lot, and he got into several confrontations, eventually getting arrested after one particularly heated incident. Consequently, the museum decided it had had enough. Citing public safety concerns, they shut the whole thing down. Phase 1 was a total failure, but LaBeouf and his team were not deterred. They announced the project would continue. They moved the live's beauty steam. There was noisy access. It was just camera pointed at a wall with the words, "He will not divide us, pente don't eat." Trolling continued, but it was harder. People would drive by and honk, or someone would try to vandalize the wall. But the real game changer was yet to come. After more disruptions, the art collective made a drastic pivot. They realized any public location was vulnerable. So, they decided to take the project somewhere no one could find it. They abandoned the wall and replaced the stream with a video of a single white flag, embroidered with the words, "He will not divide us," flying against an open sky. The location was a secret, The only clue was the sky itself. The artists basically said to the internet, "Find us now." And for Chan replied, "Challenge accepted." This is where the story goes from a simple trolling campaign to one of the greatest feats of crowdsourced digital forensics ever. It was a genuine needle-in-a-haystack problem. All they had was a flag and the sky. First, the Anons on 4chan became amateur astronomers. They started meticulously tracking the sun's arc across the sky to determine the general latitude. Then they studied the star patterns visible at night. Using star charting software, they were able to cross-reference the constellations visible on the stream, which narrowed the search area down to a huge but manageable part of the United States, likely somewhere in the central or mountain time zones. Next, they became amateur flight trackers. The livestream camera would occasionally capture the contrails of airplanes flying overhead. This was a massive clue. Users on PUL started using flight tracking websites like Flightradar24 when a plane appeared on stream. They D-check the site to see which commercial flights were in that general part of the country at that exact moment. By triangulating the flight paths of multiple planes over a couple of days, they narrowed the search down from a multi-state region to a small, specific area around Greenville, Tennessee. It was an absolutely insane display of collective data analysis. But they still didn't have the exact spot. The final piece of the puzzle was pure, old-fashioned detective work combined with a bit of luck. Shia LaBeouf had been photographed on social media at a diner in Greenville. This confirmed their geographical area was correct. The Anons were close. They could feel it. So, a local 4chan user decided to take matters into his own hands. He got in his truck and started driving around the area, honking his horn. He drove for hours, just honking and listening. And then it happened. Someone watching the live stream heard it, a faint honk. They immediately messaged the driver, telling him he was close, using the live stream as a real-time guide. They directed him like a game of hot and called until the honking on the stream was deafening. They had found it. In the dead of night, a small team of Anons hiked to the secret location. They filmed themselves lowering the "He Will Not Divide Us" flag, and in its place, they raised a red "Make America Great Again" hat and a T-shirt of Pepe the Frog. The next morning, the livestream, which was supposed to be a symbol of resistance, was instead broadcasting the symbols of the very people it was protesting against. It was the ultimate capture, the flag. The artists were defeated. They took the stream down almost immediately. The Tennessee phase of the project had lasted less than 2 days. After that, the project moved overseas, first to Liverpool, England, and then to a museum in France, becoming more and more isolated from the public until it finally just fizzled out. In the end, this whole saga was more than just a prank. It was a landmark event in the culture war of the 2010s. It demonstrated the unbelievable power of a decentralized, anonymous group of people focused on a single goal. Whether you see them as villains or geniuses, you can't deny their effectiveness. It was a clash between two completely different philosophies: the centralized, symbolic protest of the art world versus the chaotic, results-oriented, and anonymous power of the Internet's underbelly. And in this very specific, very strange battle, the Internet definitively won. It's one of those stories that's so wild. It almost doesn't seem real, but it happened. And it serves as a pretty stark reminder that once you put something out on the internet, you don't really control it anymore. Anyway, that's all for this one. These deep dives into internet history are some of my favorite videos to make. If you enjoy this kind of comprehensive analysis of bizarre digital events, you know what to do. Hitting that subscribe button and the bell icon really does help the channel out and ensures you won't miss the next story. Thanks for watching.